Let's tell you about something on a lighter note, exciting note. The Ndlovu Youth Choir from Limpopo first wowing America's Got Talent judges back in June with their rendition of My African Dream, and they haven't looked back. 2 months later, some of the young chorists have struggled with homesickness but were cheered up by a surprise visit from South African media personality Felicia Mabuza-Suttle, who helped motivate and inspire them. Tonight is their last chance to win the grand prize of $1 million. The finals are at 2 a.m. South African time. We are now joined via Skype by Dr Hugo Tempelman, founder of Ndlovu Care Group, the choir's parent body. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us, Hugo.
Good evening on your side, still good morning on our side. We are in for a very exciting day today.
And tell me about it. I saw a tweet saying that you've arrived at the arena where the Dolby Theatre where this is taking place. Tell me, how are the nerves?
Surprisingly well. What is for me fantastic to see is that despite the intimidation that they are in the theatre where the Oscars are coming, where the Grammys are given, those kids feel at home. They are beyond fear because we have gained so much already. We cannot lose, and we are going to say goodbye to LA with an African bang, and we're going to hope that we will entertain the whole world. And what we have created, I think, is so important, and that is that these youngsters from Limpopo have shown that they can be the young ambassadors of a united Africa, whereby they express hope, singing, dancing. They are all motivation. If I see what you are displaying now, those kids are not standing there with stage fright. They're standing there because they have fun. And that is for me the most beautiful thing to see.
And that is very evident in all of their performances. They go out there with a lot of passion, a lot of confidence, as you say. You also tweeted that you have received overwhelming support from everywhere. Tell us a little bit more about some of the people who've been part of that support. We mentioned Felicia Mabuza-Suttle coming to see them and wishing them well. Who else is sending you goodwill?
Well, it is from the President to the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture. It is the MEC for Health from Limpopo. It's the MEC for Sports, Arts and Culture from Limpopo. It's the Dutch Ambassador. It is the Dutch Ambassador in Washington who has greeted us. It is amazing. In Scotland are articles in the newspaper. In England, we're all over the show. We are not just artists. We never wanted to become artists. It was a healing program for orphan and vulnerable children, which became very professional. And that we would like to continue to express. That whatever your background is, what Ralph said so beautiful in the first time, the fact that you're born in poverty doesn't mean you're poverty. These kids express the voice of 22 million other South African kids who live in townships and think that they are without chances. Folks, stand up, develop your talents, and get out of your poverty, because if we can do it, everybody can do it. That's our message of hope to South Africa and far beyond to Africa.
Hugo, I mean, I've read the story of how you started with some of these children and how some of them come from absolutely nothing, and this was their only dream, their only hope, never even imagining that they reached these heights. Just a few of their stories, perhaps, what this means to them and what will actually happen should they get that big finale?
Well, that's the pep talk I had this morning with them. Remember, if you go home, then it's still your house, in your family, in your environment, where not everything is available like it was in these 6 weeks that you are in the United States. We have to get back to normal, and from your beautiful polished shoes on the red carpet of Hollywood, we go back with our toes into the dust of Mutse, and we have reached success. Definitely, if we win or not, we've reached success. But now the endurance coming. Now we must decide and prove that we can make a living out of it, that we can give everybody a better future, and that we sing ourselves into a better world. Hopefully staying those ambassadors of hope and those ambassadors for if we can do it, you can do it.
Earlier on that you want to go out with a big African bang. Any hint of what you're going to perform or what the sound that you're going for is for this big finale?
It will be radiant, it will be full of color, it will be full of dance. And yes, we will defend our roots. Don't worry about it, but more I can't say.
So not even a hint of the artist that you may be looking to cover at least?
I'm sorry, I can't say more than that I've said, but I understand your curiosity. But you will be thrilled if you hear it.
Okay, so just a final question. As you say, the big prize is just having been at the finals itself, and they are looking back to come back home. Anything that has been life-changing for them through their experiences in LA and the various people that they've met, that they've been touched by, that they're bringing back home with, irrespective of that $1 million prize?
Well, I think that we have, if we don't win the $1 million, we have at least touched 1 million and more hearts. And that's an important thing. If I look back at yesterday evening when Felicia Mabuza came to the choir, visited them, and spoke to them about her young experiences and the pitfall of this industry, that are lessons they will never forget wherever we go. And if we take that home, that we stay humble, that we stay thankful, and that we will continue to express that voice of hope, then my million dreams are already answered. And the rest of the dreams, if we take the $1 million home, yes or no, if we don't take it home, we're going to earn it in the time to come, because this choir is now full of opportunities. And those opportunities we must manage, we must handle, and we must make a better life for all those kids out of it.
And my message to those, my fellow people from Woodse, I would say to them, may you ring it out with an African bang. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Dr. Hugo Tempelman, founder of the Ndlovu Care Group, the choir's parent body. The choir will be performing at 2 a.m. South African time. The rest of the country and in Limpopo, we are rooting for you.